Welcome on the border Mexican Grill and Cantina. My name's Luke Smith, and boy, do I have a property for you. I was doing the math on this thing. I think it'd be a great spot for your restaurant to go and a place to cash out a couple $1,000,000 setting it up. But let me show you. Let's jump into it. So I was looking at your website. I found, just I always love your food and your kind of food, and I found a map on there that has the locations of your corporate, these red spots are corporate owned locations. And so this property that I have is in southern Missouri. It's right in between a bunch of corporate owned locations. So I'm sending this to you guys at corporate. This is probably another location that you could add on. So this property is in Branson, Missouri. And this is a map behind me. This is an old Panera Bread building. Panera Bread outgrew this shop and they went up the street and they opened another one that's bigger. It's got more drive-through, a couple drive-through lanes, and they left this building here, waiting for you guys. I started running the math. I started running the numbers. I started looking at all the different who goes here on lots of different bases. Because I look at cell phone traffic, people coming and going. Where do they eat? Where do they stop? What's missing? If they eat at these other locations, they should be eating at this one. And the one that's missing is on the border Mexican Grill and Cantina. So that's what I'm looking at. This is the data says this is like a 90, almost 95 percentile fit. And so I started looking at why is Mexican on the border coming up so much on the border Mexican Grill and Cantina. So I pulled up the top location of your restaurant and it's coming up with like 468,000 visits a year. That's a lot of cell phone traffic, people coming and going. Maybe all the kids play video games at that location more than the others or something, but there's a lot of people going to this location. It's saying it's doing like 40,000 customers a month, kind of on average numbers going across the last year. This location is in Texarkana. I always thought it's amazing how many different restaurants are in Texarkana. There's so many different kinds of restaurants, but this one's there and it's doing well. And it's just north of the freeway here. So I pulled it up and I started looking at some proxies in the area. So I looked at the traffic, all the different kinds of names in the area, and I took a couple classics. I thought we'd use just a simple 3-point classic. I've done lots of studies in different ways and of traffic, cell phone traffic, and looking at what names go here. And generally, when you have a bunch of high ranked, high visited names, the other ones that fill in turn out to be high ranked, high visited names too. And so a simple way for me to explain that is I'm going to use 3 names. I'm going to do Olive Garden, Starbucks, and McDonald's. So let's jump into it. Olive Garden. There's an Olive Garden next to the number 1 on the border Mexican Grill and Cantina that is getting 31,600 customers a month in the most recent, month of customers visiting with cell phones. And then the one that's near me, that's near my location, is getting 39,000 customers. So this is Olive Garden, 31 versus 39. Your number 1 location, the local Olive Garden is getting 31,000. My location, the local Olive Garden, is getting 39,000. It's getting more customers. So next up, Starbucks. Starbucks, everybody knows Starbucks. The location next to your number 1 on the border Mexican Grill and Cantina is getting 30,500 customers. That's a lot of Starbucks people. That is a crazy good Starbucks. The Starbucks next to me on my location is getting 21,000. It's not, so yours is getting more Starbucks, mine's getting more Olive Garden, but they're neck and neck. They're not that far off. And then McDonald's. Your local McDonald's is getting 8.8 thousand customers a month on average. My local McDonald's is getting 38,000 customers a month. So out of these kind of top 3 names that are kind of proxies for the area, the McDonald's is really kicking butt in my neighborhood. The Starbucks is just a little bit less than in your neighborhood. And the Olive Garden is doing almost 30% more than in your neighborhood. Together, they're pretty much neck and neck. So we're talking and comparing about the top visited on the border Mexican Grill and Cantina, and the numbers next to yours and those names compared to the numbers next to mine and my location in Branson, Missouri, that I think you should move into. So what does that mean? I'm asking $150,000 a year triple net for this location. and that's the rent. So I would like to lease it to you for $150,000 a year. Now, in price wise, I pulled up Crexy. Crexy.com's got a lot of different commercial properties for sale, and what's on the market right now, there's two different on the border locations on the market right now. So I would like to compare the $150,000 rent that I'm asking to the rent that's being paid on the ones that are for sale in the market right now, because that's how I know how to pull up data, right? I'm sure there's lots of others, but these are the ones that are for sale. So the first one is in Kissimmee, Florida, and this one is paying almost $247,000 a year in triple net rent. The other one is in Fort Worth, Texas, is paying $352,000 triple net. And so if we average those out, it's about $300,000 or just a hair off of $300,000 a year triple net rent. I'm asking $150,000. It's half. That's half. And so at the beginning of this video, I said this would be a great place to open a video. Open a restaurant. I think I've hit on all the notes. Traffic, the size of the buildings, the same size buildings, the demographics, the people coming and going in the area, because they're doing the same kinds of names that are in the area of your area as my area and the same kinds of hits. I think my location could translate to possibly a top #1 on the border location, at least in the top 10 or 25% of your overall locations. And the price that I'm asking of $150,000 triple net, if we took that to the kinds of prices that these ones in the market are asking, I think they're kind of, the one in Texas is asking a 6.7 cap. The one in Florida is asking a 5 cap. I think that's low. If we took it to like a 6.5 cap, which I think would be closer to the higher end of that, and lower price, I'd be willing to sell my building to you for $2.3 million. It'd be the same kind of equivalent number in my mind as the $150,000 a year triple net rent. And what you could do is you could do a sale leaseback of your property, put it on the market, probably with the same brokers that are selling these things already. And they're asking over $5 million. Both of these are asking over $5 million for the ones that are out there. 5.2 and 5 point, just a hair over 5 million. If you did that, you could be the cheapest one in the market. You could be and still be double the price of what you're buying this thing from me at. So you could buy it from me for 2.3 million. You could put it on the market for 4.6 or more to price in commissions and transaction fees and stuff. By doing a sale leaseback, end up with a building that kicks you, 2.3 or $2.5 million out in the front end just for buying it, turning around and doing a sale leaseback. Like, how cool would that be, right? So here's the building. I'll put the address in the description below, and I'm gonna send this video to you. Hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. Anybody else out there who's watching this video who understands what I'm talking about, has questions, I'll put my phone number down below. If you want to join me on other deals like this, I'm open, I'm all ears. I love setting up and working on deals like this. It's Luke Smith, and check out the description for my contact information. And hopefully on the border Mexican Grill and Cantina guys, you get this video and you like what you see and you want to do a deal, let me know. I'd love to help out. See you in the next one.